Every endeavor has its rules of engagement, and you can't make sense of the exterior without a proper examination of the interior. On The Shipper today, we shall be focusing on the importance of 11 internationally recognized rules which define the responsibilities of parties involved in foreign trade. I'm talking about International Commercial Terms, Incoterms. Welcome to your favorite maritime program, The Shipper. I am Abike Ido. Stay tuned. The program will continue shortly.
Nigerian shippers cancel day to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you.
Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from port A, go enter port B with a measure within on a needle. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem where shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily lane. Papa, email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
For you, we dey gidigba,
Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting now for the port of una need.
In order to maximize the benefits of African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement after, the rules of engagement as defined by Incoterms will have to be utilized. The shipper spoke to stakeholders in the maritime industry on their knowledge of Incoterms.
It makes the both party, the exporter and importer of any commercial transactions, to identify, to know their responsibilities. The acronyms used has connotation, has meaning to each and every one of them.
Set of rules that convey these obligations and responsibilities. One, for example, you have EXW, which is X works. You have EXQ, which is XQ. Then you have EXS, which is X ship. Now these have different meanings. The EXW, which is X works, means that when you have this agreement in place, it is that the buyer will take responsibility of the cargo from the seller's home country. Now when you talk about the X ship, it means the seller will take responsibility of the cargo when it is in the buyer's country. So it apportions responsibilities between the two.
When you relate it to international trade, it's one of the vital tools that is used by the seller and the buyer in entering into a contract of sale. So it's so important that we bring it to the fore in terms of, trying to revamp the port process.
There's bound to be implications of Incoterms in trading by road, which we foresee that the majority of after trade will be carried out on road transport basis. There are so many Incoterms that will fit nicely into road transportation between the West African sub-region and other places in Africa.
Every 10 years, the International Chamber of Commerce, ICC, reviews and publishes the Incoterms to prepare businesses for the next decade of global trade, as change remains constant. Ever heard of the term free on board, FOB, cost and freight, free alongside ship, or even cost insurance and freight? Well, these are 4 of the 11 rules usually tagged the maritime Incoterms. They are the rules for sea and inland waterway transport. Nigerian Shippers Council, in collaboration with the ICC, organized a sensitization workshop for stakeholders on Incoterms 2020 to enhance the understanding of these rules to the success of AFTA. Lucy Uligbe has more details.
The International Commercial Terms, simply Incoterms, is published by the International Chamber of Commerce, ICC. It is a set of rules that clarify the terms buyers and sellers use in international and domestic trade. Incoterms defines the responsibilities of each party, who pays for a shipment, who manages the shipment, insurance, documentations, customs clearance, and other logistical activities. The first edition was published in 1936. The terms were amended in 1953, 1967, 1976, 1980, 1990, 2000, and 2010, with the 9th version, Incoterms 2020, which came into effect 1st January 2020. The commercial terms are aimed at simplifying and promoting international trade, while Incoterms plays a critical role in ensuring error-free and risk-free execution of international transactions. It also benefits domestic trade. It has become imperative for Nigerian importers and exporters or buyers and sellers to understand the terms and conditions under which they trade in order to avoid difficulties or conflicts. Nigerian Shippers Council recently held a sensitization workshop themed Incoterms 2020, Necessity for Global Trade Transaction. Speaking at the workshop via Zoom, the ES CEO of the Council, Hassan Bello, stated that adequate knowledge of the Incoterms would help to reduce trade disputes and litigation, as well as waste of time and resources in international trade. According to him, the full understanding and right application of the commercial terms will help Nigerian stakeholders to play significant roles in the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, AFTA.
So, it is pertinent for every stakeholder in the trade and transport sector in Nigeria to be conversant with Incoterms, because it does not only apply to international trade, but also very relevant in domestic trade. When there is adequate understanding of the rules, it will go a long way in mitigating trade disputes and litigation and its waste of time and resources. So the African Continental Trade Area commenced 1st January 2021, will create a single market and deepen the economic integration of the African continent. Nigeria must put in place necessary measures to reap the biggest benefits of that as the biggest economy in Africa.
The Secretary General ICC, Olubunmi Osuntuyi, stated that bringing stakeholders together would create a dialogue on AFTA, which would ensure that the Nigerian economy can benefit from both Incoterms and the Trade Pact. Recall that on July 7th, 2019, Nigeria became the 53rd African country to sign the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement AFTA Treaty. Nigeria went on to ratify its AFTA membership in November 2020. The pact, which aims to create the world's largest free trade area, kicked off on January 1, 2021.
To those who possibly do not know, that ICC is also putting into consideration the issue of technology. And that is why for every participant at this program, I was able to get the confirmation. So send you a link that will help you to download freely the chat, the Incoterms chat. You'll be able to download it freely, and the link will be given to all the participants. I thought I will hear somebody clap.
Also speaking at the workshop, the Managing Director, Sofomax Consulting and Vice Chairman of the ICC Banking Commission, Nigeria, Dr. Omolara Okonji, emphasized that while the free trade arrangement normalizes duties across the concerned countries, it should not cause a deficiency of standards.
Controls logistics, controls trade. I want to repeat that. Whoever controls logistics, controls trade. And Shipper Council is a logistic council. If you don't control logistics, you cannot make effective trade.
On its part, Dr. Obiora Madu, the CEO of Multimix Group, said the authorities should continue sensitization across board for importers, exporters and freight forwarders to understand Incoterms, noting that regulating international trade would yield no result if Incoterms is not understood.
The essence of Incoterms in international trade is that it's like the navigating tool. Incoterms is like the navigating tool of international trade. So you can't run it. It's like flying, to want to do trade without Incoterms, like wanting to fly an aircraft without instruments. That's what it is like. So you need to, I gave an example earlier on that if, for example, you are the exporter, you put your goods on the vessel while it is in Tinkan, and the vessel sinks. The goods are insured. But at that point in time, whose obligation is it? Who has the authority to go to insurance to claim, to make claims on those on what has happened? Should it be the importer or should it be the exporter?
In exclusive interviews with the shipper, various stakeholders gave their opinions on the workshop and its importance to Nigeria's economy.
Since my organization is into cross-border trade in West Africa, Incoterms will definitely benefit us because if we do our trade the right way, following the terms of international commerce, definitely we have more revenue and more benefit in what we are doing.
Nigeria is a dominant factor in international trade. Now, whatever you are talking about in Africa, the market is in Nigeria. So we need to really get it right for us to protect the national interest. Otherwise, our country will become a dumping ground, goods generally, because no producer, no exporter will think of any trade in Africa without having Nigeria in mind. So we have to equip ourselves technologically and with enough knowledge for us to be able to protect national interest. Otherwise, Nigeria will be a loser as far as the implementation of an African free continental trade area is concerned.
There is no ignorance in law. If you flout the law, you'll be responsible for the implication. So for us to have done this, I think I'm satisfied, and plans are underway, not only to limit it to Lagos environment. We see how we can replicate it, even in spite of COVID, in other regions of the nation. So that way, on the part of a regulator, they are seen to have provided the necessary information that will help a will-be importer or exporter to take the right decisions when it comes to their contract agreements, as the case may be.
You have 7 types of rules guiding any modes of transportation, and you have 4 guiding the sea and waterways transportation. This Incoterm, you can also use it for domestic trade. I always say that if somebody is on top of logistics, you will be on top of your trade, and trade will be meaningful, and you can create wealth. Any country that is not trading is not going to be wealthy.
Chief Kajetan Agu, Director, Consumer Affairs Department of the NSC, who also spoke with the shipper, revealed that poor logistics and road networks are some of the challenges inhibiting the smooth flow of trade in Nigeria. He stated that more needs to be done to connect Nigerian ports and automate port processes.
Incoterm for now is Incoterm 2020. So the purpose of this workshop is to create awareness among our trading community, especially those who are involved in import-export trade, to be conversant with the set of rules that guides their businesses. We want to create the knowledge, we create the understanding and the use of international commercial terms. You are aware that there is a saying that when you make trade easier, more trade will happen. You know, and equally another saying that knowledge is power. So we want to create knowledge among the importers and exporters. We equally want to make trade easier for them so that they won't be shortchanged in the process of international trade transactions. They must know the right rule, they must know the favorable rule, the one that will benefit their trade and equally the Nigerian economy.
As the country's port economic regulator, we will continue to have conversations geared towards enlightening trade stakeholders. We are confident that the smooth flow of trade will massively contribute to the growth of Nigeria's economy. It's time for Oluwasegun Aloko to keep us up to speed with the latest developments in the global maritime sector. Over to you, Segun.
It's tidbits on the premier maritime program on television, The Shipper. Oluwasegun Aloko is my name. The Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Mr. Hassan Bello, has said that the Council will not relent in its responsibility of validation of guidelines on setting, review, and modification of tariffs for regulated service providers in the Nigerian port sector. This was restated by Ms. Ifeoma Eze-Dima, the Director of Regulatory Services Department, who represented the ES at the meeting with regulated service providers. The meeting was held at the Nigerian Shippers Council's headquarters in Lagos. As a socially responsible corporate entity concerned with the well-being of the communities in all the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, the Nigerian Shippers Council touched the light of internally displaced people's residents at the new Kuchingoro camp in Abuja. Speaking at the event, the Deputy Director, Abuja Liaison Office, Mrs. Rekia New, emphasized the need for support and empowerment to communities at the base of society. The camp chairman, Philemon Emmanuel, thanked the council for the kind gesture. The Nigerian Shippers Council continues to urge service providers such as terminals and barge operators, shipping companies, freight forwarders, clearing agents, amongst others, to register with the council. Failure to do so will attract penalty. Registration can be done online via the website www.shipperstradedata.gov.ng. Here is our complaint register for the week. A total number of 4 complaints were received. 3 have been resolved and 1 is an ongoing investigation. Some of these complaints include arbitrary charges, transfer charges, storage charges, and service failure. It's worthy of note that the Nigerian Shippers Council is committed to creating an effective regulatory regime for the control of charges and other related economic services at the nation's seaport. Here is a letter from Mr. Unwankwo Evans of DEK Gold Aluminium Limited, appreciating the Council for its quick intervention in recovering excess demurrage charge paid to AML bonded terminal. This letter is to show our thanks to Shippers Council for a wonderful work performed by them. There is no agency or organization to compare with them in the area of maritime industry. Without Shippers Council, the rights of importers would have been nothing to write home about, because shipping companies and terminal operators would have trampled them to death. We appreciate your good and quick intervention between us and AML bonded terminal by recovering the excess demurrage paid to them, as a result of their dubious calculation. We cannot thank you enough for your good work. May Almighty God continue to preserve you. Thanks. Again and again, the Nigerian Shippers Council has proved that achieving a level playing field for all players in the maritime industry is a possibility. Stay tuned as I bring you more news on shipping around the world. Chinese liner service provider China United Lines, CU Lines, is to launch 3 new shipping services connecting China, Japan, and Southeast Asia. The 3 new services consist of Japan, Thailand, Vietnam, Japan, Taiwan, and Japan, Singapore, Malaysia. The services will establish a direct shipping channel connecting ports from mainland China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, and the Southeast Asia region. These Japanese services will improve efficiency of the company's current shipping network and provide more options for clients in Asia, said CU Lines. Taiwanese ship owner One Lines has placed an order at South Korea's Hyundai Heavy Industries for 5 13,200 TEU container ships at a cost of $550 million, which is about 209 billion naira. The new boat ships will start delivering in the first quarter of 2023, which will become the largest vessels of One Eye's fleet in terms of carrying capacity. One Eye said the new shipping building contract was its fleet renewal plan aimed at maintaining competitiveness and to support continuous market development. One Eye Lines currently operates a fleet of 74 self-owned vessels and 57 chartered vessels. In Sweden, APM Terminals, APMT, Gothenburg, is to add a sustainable short sea terminal to its offering and become Sweden's only full-service terminal. The terminal will provide an environmentally friendly intra-European cargo transport option. The facility will be located at the Skandiame Western Quay, which was recently renovated and reinforced. In addition to suitable storage and transloading facilities close to the quayside, the plan includes capabilities for loading and unloading barges and smaller coastal vessels. Dennis Ollison, Managing Director of APMT Nordic, said that sea shipping plays a key role in effective and sustainable freight transportation within Europe. According to him, the short sea investment answers the market's increased demand for climate-efficient transport perfectly. And with that, we come to the end of the Titbit segment of the Shipper for this week. Till next time.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos, or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Thanks, Shegun. This is how much we can take on today's edition of The Shipper, brought to you by Nigerian Shippers Council, Nigeria's port economic regulator. Remember to register as full regulated service providers, as failure to do so will attract penalty. Registrations can be done online via the website www.shipperstradedata.gov.ng. Thank you for watching. Join us next week, same time, same station, for another enlightening edition of the program. Bye.